Who do you think of first when someone mentions the richest football player in the world? Ronaldo, Messi, and maybe now even Mbappe since his new PSG deal? Well, you're wrong. The richest footballer in the world is actually 10 times richer than those three combined. That's what you call a real baller. But let's start off with the poorest on the list, Mr. Wayne Rooney. Rooney was one of the greatest players at Manchester United under Alex Ferguson. He scored some of the greatest goals in Premier League history. Who can forget that crazy overhead kick against Manchester City? And obviously scoring goals like that on the big stage can make you a lot of money. And Rooney is definitely no exception. During his long career, he inked deals with giants such as EA Sports, Nike, HarperCollins, and of course Coca-Cola. And the poorest man on our list comes in at a whopping $145 million? Maybe I should rethink my wording. Rooney had a legendary career, so it's quite normal for him to have that kind of money. But how about someone who never quite reached his full potential, like Alexandre Pato? Alexandre Pato never quite achieved his potential in professional football. At one point, he was thought to be one of the most promising young players and potentially a new Brazilian GOAT, such as Pelé, Ronaldinho, etc. But he never really achieved anything major, and pretty much everyone has forgotten everything about him. But his bankers definitely haven't forgotten about him, and probably lay a red carpet for him every time he walks into the bank, because this man is worth a lot of cash. He is worth an estimated $150 million thanks to his smart investments. He may never have made it into the Hall of Fame, but with that kind of money, he can buy the hall and turn it into his personal cigar room. He's definitely a rich man, but he's still far from his former AC Milan teammate, Zlatan Ibrahimovic. There are very few players who are as polarizing as Zlatan Ibrahimovic. Zlatan is one of the greatest strikers of all time. His amazing performances on the field with his abrasive, sometimes arrogant personality off the pitch have made him one of the most famous personalities in football and also made him a shit ton of money. You can't keep track of all the brand deals Zlatan has signed, but some of the biggest ones came from Nike, Volvo, Nivea Men, Visa, and even D-Squared. He has an estimated net worth of over $190 million. I'm sure Zlatan might scoff at this number and claim to have much more money than this, and who am I not to believe him? He'd probably crack a smile if he'd see that the next person on the list is his son's favourite player, Neymar da Silva Santos Jr. Neymar is definitely one of the biggest Brazilian players of all time. He burst onto the scene with his amazing skills, jaw-dropping goals, and, well, original hairstyles. And in no time he became a global football icon, even before he moved to Barcelona, back in 2013. Man, that makes me feel old. It feels like it was yesterday. But anyways, we all know when Neymar made his big money. That's of course when he signed for PSG in 2017. This deal was, and I think still is, the most expensive football signing in the world, signing for a whopping $263 million. Neymar is another player whose good looks and image have served him very well financially. He signed a massive endorsement deal with Puma, worth around £25 million a year, after a complicated breakup with Nike. I'm looking to make a video about that as well. What do you think? He also has an endorsement deal with Red Bull and Replay Jeans. But as we all know, he's also a big spender, but he hasn't wasted it all, and is still worth an estimated $200 million. Not too bad for someone who has just entered their 30s. Obviously, we all know Neymar, but have you ever heard of Dave Whelan? Now, you may not have heard of this name before, but Blackburn Rovers and Wigan Athletic fans know him very, very well. English banks also know him very well because Dave Whelan is a very wealthy man. Dave Whelan is an English football legend who played for Blackburn Rovers before an unfortunate event almost ended his career. You see, in a game against Wolves FC, he suffered a broken leg injury that almost ended his career. He then transferred to Crewe Alexandra and ended up retiring only a few years later to pursue a career in the retail business. And that was a very smart decision financially for Dave. He started one of the biggest sports retail businesses called JJB Sports and ended up selling it for over $50 million. He then became the chairman of Wigan Athletic Football Club, which he then also sold for a measly $22 million. Whelan is currently said to have an estimated net worth of over $210 million, making him one of the richest players to have touched a ball. This might be the first time you've heard of Whelan, but the next name on the list is someone you definitely know. Lionel Messi, the Argentinian, is another one you just can't keep off a list like this. He is one of the best players of all time, with millions, if not billions of fans from all around the world. He's won the Ballon d'Or award more times than I've started on my Sunday League team this season. And with all of that success and fame came a lot of bread. He has signed endorsement deals with some of the biggest brands like Adidas, Huawei, Lay's, Pepsi, and many more. While there are rumours about him being a billionaire, I think the people who made that claim probably forgot even the GOAT has to pay taxes. But still, $400 million isn't too bad for a small boy from Rosario. He might be a small man, but his bank account definitely isn't. Messi is a good-looking man, but most of his money came because of his football talent. David Beckham, on the other hand, has his looks to thank for the majority of his earnings. Beckham takes the award for one of the most charming footballers of all time. I don't have the official stats, but he might be one of the reasons for the increase in female football fans over the years. Beckham had a hugely successful career at Manchester United before moving to Real Madrid and finally ending his career at LA Galaxy. And don't get me wrong, he made lots of money as a player, but most of his fortune came from his activities off the pitch. Beckham's sex appeal is one of his biggest products. He has modelled for many fashion brands and got an incredible portfolio of brand endorsements, including heavyweights like Adidas, Pepsi, and Gillette. His business portfolio puts him at an estimated net worth of just over $450 million. Another Manchester legend who made a few mil thanks to his looks is the one and only Cristiano Ronaldo. It's impossible to have a list like this without having this man on it. Cristiano Ronaldo is one of the richest football players of all time. As far as brand appeal goes, there are very few players who come close to Cristiano. He is the most followed person in the world, with over 495 million followers at the time of recording. To put this into perspective, that's more than the entire population of the United States. This large following has gotten him some of the biggest endorsement deals in football. He signed a lifetime deal with Nike worth a whopping $1 billion. But that's definitely not all. Ronaldo takes pretty much all deals that come his way, so I can't show them all. I'd need to make a separate video for that. On top of all this, he's one of the highest paid footballers in the world right now, even at 37 years of age. All of this makes Ronaldo's estimated net worth to be over $500 million. I think most of you think the list ends here, because who in the world could have more money than Cristiano Ronaldo or Messi? Well, wait till you hear the next name, and especially the net worth of the next player. Mathieu Flamini. You may have not been expecting Flamini to be on this list because, as a footballer, the Arsenal legend wasn't half as popular as most of the names on this list. But the former Gunner is now richer than all the players I've talked about until now, combined. Flamini didn't have a bad career. He won 3 FA Cups with Arsenal and decided to retire from football in 2019. But obviously, it isn't from the beautiful game that Flamini made his big bucks. If I asked you to guess how much Flamini was worth, what do you think the number would be? Put it in the comments. I can almost guarantee you are very, very far from the correct answer. You see, Mathieu Flamini is not a multimillionaire. Far from it. Flamini currently has an estimated net worth of $14 billion. Yes, you heard that right. $14 billion. That's more than the GDP of Togo. So how did he become so rich? Flamini actually started a biochemicals company. He struck gold when the company, named GF Biochemicals, became the first company to be able to produce the oil substitute levulinic acid at a large scale. Since then, Flamini's pockets have been deeper than the ocean. Flamini is a well-known gunner who is adored by many fans, but the richest football player of all time is actually someone you have probably never heard of. Fake Jeffrey Bolkiah is the richest player in football, and nobody even comes close. Fake is a forward who plays for Chonburi FC in Thailand, but he actually used to play in the Premier League for Leicester City. So, how did he become so rich? Well, that's simple. He was born. That's it. His father is Jeffrey Bolkiah, the Prince of Brunei. So, yeah, these people pretty much have an unlimited amount of money. Fake himself is worth an estimated $20 billion, and he's only 24 years old. With that kind of money, why would anybody even risk their legs on a field? Well, only Fake can answer that question.